No.22, this is Ron, back at you with another video, and this time around we're going to be talking about the Arizona sound. I'm going to be showing some Arizona records, talking about Arizona artists, and how I kind of touched onto this subject was Bo sent me a Dwayne Eddy single for some VCLT, and from there we went to the Audio Recorders recording studio for a visit. I thought this would be the perfect time to do a little follow-up on that. So I'm going to show some records, and we're going to go out on a little field trip, visit a couple more recording studios, and I think it'll be pretty fun for you guys. So a lot of Arizona music history to be looked at, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, here's Dwayne Eddy's first album, Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel. And this was recorded here in Phoenix at Audio Recorders, and this is actually a second pressing because it has different colored lettering on the cover, but it's the original style cover. It would later the cover would completely be changed, and this is a rare stereo copy, true stereo. And the album actually was originally released in 1958, and this is a 1959 issue. Cover is in beautiful mint minus condition. And the first single off of this is right there, Movin' and Groovin'. And that is the song that we heard at the opening of my video. And if you notice, at the very beginning of that, it sounded very much like the Beach Boys' Surfin' USA. That's because they lifted the riff for that song. And the song up above it, Ramrod, that was actually his very first single released here locally in Phoenix on the Ford label, and that is a very valuable single. And actually, Movin' and Groovin', that was the second single, but it was his first one on Jamie. Yeah, Dwayne Eddy was a real groundbreaker. He developed the twangy guitar, very influential. Rock and roll was pretty much dying out in the late 50s. It was getting more and more watered down, and he helped to keep that electric rock guitar alive. The style of this music is kind of hard to listen to now because of the horn. But you got to look beyond that and listen to what else is going on in the songs. The twangy guitar is just really incredible. So yeah, he was very popular worldwide. He sold, Rebel Rouser was a huge multi-million seller worldwide. And this is the label for the record. And also, if you look at the back of this, the songwriting credits, you'll see Hazelwood. So Lee Hazelwood was, you know, kind of Eddie's partner and worked with making him a star. You see Al Casey's writing credit there too. And this is his second album. Especially for You, 1959, and that was actually taken at South Mountain, which is a recreational spot south of Phoenix. And Dwayne Eddy, he's sitting there at Dobbins Lookout, which is still there. It's at the very top of South Mountain. I've been there many a time. So that's where that picture was taken. And this is like a greatest hits, $1 million worth of twang. And this album came out in 1960. It's just all of his hits. Yeah, Rebel Rouser, that was a big seller for him. It's probably a signature song. Yeah, for me, the horn kills it, but, you know, it's just the way things were back then. So yeah, he was very influential with young kids who would later become rock stars, especially in Great Britain. They loved Dwayne Eddy. So yeah, he wasn't actually born here in Phoenix. I guess he was born in New York, and he moved here. I don't know when he moved here, but he may have actually grown up here. So yeah, he actually did some acting. I have a Western. I think it's from the early 60s. He actually did do acting as well. I don't know how many movies he made, but I do have a Western by him. So let's go on to some more audio recorder records. Okay, we're going to get going here we're going to talk about Audio Recorders Recording Studio a little bit. And in my previous video, we went to the second location. There was an earlier location in the 50s, and this is the address of it right here. And we'll be going there a little later. The studio is no longer there. There's some office buildings, but we're still going to go over there anyway. And it's a little bit south of the studio that's still standing. And this was a record. It was like a rockabilly ballad by Sanford Clark. And it was recorded here. And I believe it was recorded at the original Audio Recorders. And Lee Hazelwood is behind this recording. He was in the late 50s, he was a DJ here in Phoenix. And I've been studying up a little bit on this stuff. I mean, I don't have this stuff burned into my brain, so I mean, there's a lot of things to remember, so I've tried to do my best. But basically, from what I've read, this song was actually written by Lee Hazelwood, but for some reason it says Naomi Ford on the writing credit. Now that may have been some sort of an alias that he went under for some reason. But anyway, this record was recorded here in Phoenix in early 1956. And this is an original pressing on MCI. There was only 500 copies of this record pressed. And I was lucky enough to score this at an antique mall for just like $3 or $4. So this is just a rare piece of Arizona music history right here. And on the flip side, it has Lonesome for a Letter. And after the initial 500 copies of this was pressed, it was like a big local hit, and Hazelwood had sent out copies all across the nation, and people were writing him and calling him and telling him, hey, you've got a massive hit on your hands, we need more copies, you know. But due to financial problems going on, it could not be afforded. So reluctantly, Lee Hazelwood sold the master rights to Dot Records, and Dot Records released it in 1957. And this is a little written information I have here about the record, written by John Dixon. And this is all on the internet. If you want to read the whole thing, you can search it out. But it says right there that Dot gave them a $2,500 advance, and the Fool went on to sell more than 800,000 copies. Now, I believe that's probably US. I don't think it would be worldwide. But this record did go on to become very popular worldwide. Here's an old German pressing of it on London. It's got the same B-side, and you notice Al Casey on guitar. He was a popular sessions player here in Arizona. And this is a Japanese version of The Fool. And I think this is probably 60s. It's like a double, it's like a split single with 2 hits. It's got The Fool on one side, and it's got the Green Door by Jim Lowe on the other side. But yeah, I found that in a thrift store as well as that, so I was pretty surprised to find that. I mean, The Fool on a Japanese pressing, that's pretty amazing. And then it was re-recorded in 1966 at Audio Recorders, and look at the producer, Waylon Jennings. And Johnny Owens, he was kind of a local singer, country singer in the area as well. And yeah, Jennings did a lot of production work at Audio Recorders in the mid-60s. So that's an updated 1966 version of it with a different B-side. And this is a rockabilly single that was recorded at Audio Recorders by Jim Murphy, I'm Gone Mama. And now we're going into some garage rock, and the Vibratos were a very popular Phoenix Beatle band in '64. They were like the #1 teen beat band, and here's a cover version of I'll Be Back by the Beatles. And when they put this record out, this song hadn't even been released in America yet. They got this off an import copy of A Hard Day's Night album, and it would later be released in the US in 1965 on Beatles 65. And the flip side is a cover version of Something Else by Eddie Cochran. And this is actually their only record. And here's another one that was recorded at Audio Recorders, the one, the studio that opened up in '64. And this is by the Bittersweets, She Treats Me Bad, on Hype. And the flip side is Cry Your Eyes Out. And this band would go on to become 20th Century Zoo, a heavy hard rock acid band. And here's another Bittersweets, and this one was released nationally on the Original Sound label. And really good record here. Another Chance, and the A side is In the Night. Just a really cool record. There's actually quite a few Bittersweet singles, and unfortunately I've only got a couple. And here's 20th Century Zoo. As I said, this was previously the Bittersweets, and this is a single off of their album. They had one album on Vault in I believe it was '68. And this is another popular Phoenix teen beat band, Peanut Butter. And it's got I'm Glad I Knew You, very Mercy Beats sounding locally written song. And it's got On the Road Again, Lovin' Spoonful cover version, real garagey. And if you notice the label number on this, it's M113. The record right before this, which was M112, was the first Spider single, Why Don't You Love Me? So that's pretty cool. This is another popular teen beat garage band that was very popular in Phoenix in the mid-60s, Phil and the Frantics. And look at the producer on that one, Waylon Jennings. Jennings actually produced a lot of their singles, and although he didn't get credit on all of them, I think this is the only one where he actually gets credit on the label. And I think that one's from 1965. Okay, here's another one that was recorded at Audio Recorders, and it's Thackeray Rock, Balling, 1966. And there's actually a couple of different pressings of this with different colored labels. And the flip side is Season of the Witch, cover version by Donovan. And This band featured Vince Welnick, who would later go on to play keyboards for the Tubes. And I actually have a picture of this band. That's a really cool fuzz rocker. These sell easily for around $200. And this is another Tubes related band, and it's the Caravels. And this was recorded, this is a national release by Hadley Murrell. He was a producer and he put this out. And they only had 145, and this is like a Yardbird style garage rave up. Really excellent record. And the flip side is Self-Service, and this is a white label promo. And this band featured Rick Anderson, who went on to play bass for the Tubes. And this is another Arizona audio recorders record, and this one's pretty rare. And it's by a band called Cleese, the Weird One, and this is just killer heavy acid rock. And the flip is not very good, but the A side is just outstanding. And I think this is probably their only record. Okay, I'm going to show some reissue stuff that came out of Phoenix. Those recorded at Audio Recorders. There's the Caravels, the band that I was talking about earlier. And I believe that guy right there in the center is Rick Anderson. And this has got some alternate stuff on it. And the Mile Ends, they were a really good band. Excellent garage. This come out on Sundays. Recorded at Audio Recorders. This is The Insect, and this was recorded at Audio Recorders. This is like previously unreleased stuff, just killer stuff here. And here's 20th Century Zoo. I talked about them a little earlier. They were originally known as the Bittersweets, and this has got some alternate stuff on it too, previous unreleased versions and stuff. So yeah, Sundays. Okay, that does it for Audio Recorders. Alright guys, we're heading north on 7th Street, and I'm going to pull up to where the Audio Recorders recording studio was in the 1950s, so you can check that out. So we'll be there in a second. Okay, I'm at the location of the original Audio Recorders at 3707 North 7th Street in Phoenix. And this is actually where Dwayne Eddy recorded his early Jamie recordings. It was right here. And I'll show you where the 1960s Audio Recorders is. It's just across the street. And let's see. There it is, right there. We were over there in my previous video. So yeah, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. I don't know what business this is, but this is the land where the studio was. Definitely nothing to sell tickets to, but I thought you guys would like to see it. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed our little excursion into the Arizona sound. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this video down into two parts. So this is going to be the Audio Recorders video, and I'm also going to do Viv Studios. That will be part 2. So stay tuned and watch for Viv, and that will be coming up shortly. Bye guys.